Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the Infowar.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's October 8th, 2014, and let's get straight into our news tonight. By now, you've probably heard that Thomas Eric Duncan has died in the Dallas hospital, a very unfortunate situation, and our thoughts and prayers do go out to his family. He died earlier this morning, so we were told. And the thing about this is now that we have a confirmed victim here in the United States of America, what are we going to do to combat this? Because we see travel sanctions in the African continent. We see parts of Europe putting out travel sanctions as well, but we refuse to do that here at home. But something that people are talking about and something that is a possible, I won't say a remedy, but some type of reaction to this is temperature screenings. Now we have this article, Feds announce airport fever screenings for Ebola, which can be beaten with ibuprofen. Temperature screenings of passengers arriving from West Africa will soon begin at O'Hare International, Kennedy International, Dulles International, Hartsfield-Jackson International, and Newark Liberty International, federal officials announced today. But Sean Kaufman, who previously worked with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention during the SARS outbreak, said, "The fever screening instruments run low and aren't that accurate," he said. "People can take ibuprofen to reduce their fever enough to pass the screening, and why wouldn't they?" And exactly right, why wouldn't they? Now, when it comes to airport security, especially with this Ebola thing, I don't really fault the airport personnel. What do they really have to work with? These little temperature screenings that can be easily fooled. I'm more concerned with the TSA sticking their hands down my pants because the U.S. wants to fund Al-Qaeda, but that's a whole different deal. So, what exactly can be done at these airports? I don't know, and that's the question. Why aren't travel sanctions being put in place by the United States government? But let's talk about something a little closer to home. We talked about the situation in Africa. Let's talk about the Ebola cases happening right now in the state of Texas. We've seen a Dallas deputy who went to the home of Mr. Duncan, his home here in the U.S., and he is now being quarantined under a possible Ebola concern. And the headline reads, "Could take 48 hours to confirm if deputy has Ebola." And this is Sergeant Michael Monning, and he accompanied health officials into the home of Duncan. And now people are very concerned that he may in fact have Ebola himself. And this is the situation. Because you send these guys in, an officer, he's just following the commands he gets over the radio. "Hey, we need you to go to this guy's house." He said, "Okay, I'll go in there." And now he could potentially have Ebola. But we had a chance to speak to our own police chief here today in the city of Austin, Art Acevedo. And this is what the Infowars crew had to ask him.
Listen, what we're going to do here is we're going to be a security team to make sure that we secure a perimeter. We have processes in place where health professionals will be taking the lead in terms of doing those type of things. So our protocols are in place. We have a multidisciplinary plan in place where the health department here in the county and the state will take the lead, and we'll just provide law enforcement support as needed.
So that was the response from the Austin police chief. Now, some White House reporters commented on this issue as well, and their comments weren't exactly as eloquent.
The most interesting thing is the travel and stuff.
Yeah, we're screwed.
Which is what
I'm feeling fluish. Just so you know, so I'm going to give you a big kiss.
No, I don't want your kiss.
This DC test comes back positive. I'm doing filters all week.
This what?
DC test comes back
yeah?
positive. I'll be doing filters.
Oh, that's right. That stupid, we had a stupid mic. Yeah, did you hear that, everyone?
Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, Oxy Powder. Backed by FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. Take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with Oxy Powder. Secure your Oxy Powder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.